Hey, what is going on, webheads? Roundaway here. I feel like, to me, one of the best parts about any video game is the bosses, especially in Devil May Cry. I really like the bosses in most of the DMC games, except for a few. You know, they all can't be winners. So hey, kind of just on a whim, I decided to rank the DMC bosses. If you're wondering why I'm doing 3 and not any of the other games, it's for the fact that I've beaten 3 the most out of any other of the Devil May Cry games, because I foolishly thought to try to 100% it, which I still never did. I probably will come back to it someday, but I have the most experience fighting these bosses on multiple different difficulties, so I'd definitely be down to do each game in this series. So let me know in the comments who's your favorite boss, and if you want to see more of these for different games in the Devil May Cry series, I'd be down to do it. But without further ado, let's just do it. So funny thing about this, I'm actually learning a lot of these boss names for the first time. Probably some of the weirder ones that I just never thought about giving them an actual name. I had no clue the guy you fight in Mission 2 is called Vangaurd, which I think he has a way cooler name than he should have. And if we're being technical, this isn't a boss. I say technically because it does have a boss health bar, but this enemy becomes, you know, an actual just normal enemy you can fight later in the game. It doesn't really change that much from its enemy appearance or its in-game version, at least as far as I can tell. It's honestly a pretty solid boss for the most part. It's just your basic bitch boss that you have to fight in the beginning. It teaches you a lot about dodging in Devil May Cry, and also the weapon clashing mechanic of you and an enemy can hit each other at the same time, and you can use that to gain an opening, which actually comes up a lot more later for certain bosses. Here's a good introduction, but the fight itself, like I said, simple. You just attack, clash weapons, dodge. You don't even have to do the weapon clash if you want to. You could just straight up avoid the attacks. There are a few things that are of note here. Weirdly, that the scythe, at least for me, I feel like it has a weird hitbox on it. Like, it looks like it has more range than it actually does, so you could kind of jump over a lot of its attacks. And it does have some tricky attacks with, like, the whole teleporting and going across the screen dash attack, and especially the underwater attack, I call it, where like he goes underneath the ground and pops back up. It can be pretty annoying, but this boss is pretty easy and a good beginner boss, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. Now we're talking about the big guns here.
Easy, Fido. How about I take you for a walk? Come on, puppy. Let's go.
You'll regret this, you learn!
It's showtime. Come on.
This is the true, actual first boss of Devil May Cry 3, and probably the most iconic to most people. Of course, we're talking about Cerberus. And yeah, everything about this boss fight is just sick. Like, the location you fight him in, him just being, like, this 3-headed ice dog. His theme song, which is probably one of the best songs in Devil May Cry 3, it actually has lyrics, which most of the boss themes don't. And I like how the lyrics are taunting you as well. But yeah, this fight is just really fun and really hard, especially if you just start playing the game for the first time. And hell, even sometimes going back to this game, I still have a little bit of trouble with this fight. Really just because it has like really big sweeping attacks. Sometimes the ice is a little hard to dodge sometimes. It's mainly the camera, honestly, that makes this fight that much harder. But yeah, the gimmick of having to like take the ice off of it to do the real damage is super fun. Lock-on doesn't really help making the heads, like when you have to like switch which head you're targeting. That can be kind of annoying. But once you know what you're doing, this boss fight is still, it's not too hard, but it can be difficult and it's still pretty fun. I love how this boss basically represents that, yeah, this is where the real game is, and if you can't get past this boss fight, you're in for a rude awakening. And yeah, I think this is definitely an S tier boss, and you get one of the most cool weapons, no pun intended, in the entire— Speaking of boss names, the motherfucking Gigapede. Why is it called the Gigapede? I mean, it is a giganormous centipede, I guess that's why, but an even bigger pain in my ass. This thing sucks. This boss fight fucking sucks. It sucks for not the reason you think. It just is a bad, unfun boss fight. It's not hard or anything at all. If you have trouble with this boss fight, I don't know what to tell you, really. Unless you are just starting out with this game. No, the fight itself isn't that hard. All it is, it just— keeps rotating between these two like cave areas. It just goes along the entire map, and then you have to wait for it to poke its head out, and you have to jump on top of it, hit it in its weak spots, which is just literally everywhere on its back, and then you could just start wailing on it and it does a shit ton of damage, especially with the nunchucks, because it does piercing damage and its entire body is segmented, so piercing weapons do a lot to it. So that makes it way easier later in the game once you have more weapons that can do that. Namely, the sniper rifle can do that pretty easily. But this boss fight literally wouldn't be that bad if the game wasn't just old. The main problem with this fight is just the camera and the fact that you have to do platforming in single-handedly the worst physics engine for platforming ever. Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but the platforming in Devil May Cry games is notoriously not good, especially with a fixed camera. So if you miss your jump, it's really hard to get back on top of the platform in time before it just goes back in the hole, hides, and then you have to wait again. Again, not easy, just a waste of time. And if they ever remake Devil May Cry 3, they gotta retune this boss fight, or just fix the platforming, because it's just awful. This fight isn't that horrible, it's just kind of whatever, but the fact that you have to fight this and every other boss multiple times, this is one of them. Like, they could have just left this one out. I don't know why this was included in like the boss rush towards the end of the game. I'm gonna give this a C tier, and the only reason I put it that high is because I kind of like the design of this thing, and I think this could have been a cool boss. It's just if the stupid platforming wasn't a thing.
Welcome to hell!
I don't know what the general consensus on the Jester boss fights are, but I actually like them quite a lot. I don't even know why. They're just kind of fun, and while completely optional, just do them every time, because why not? These fights are pretty simple. All they really amount to is you shooting at the Jester. He gets tired, and you wail on him a bunch, and then he summons these orbs that circle around the entire map, usually in different patterns. You rinse, repeat, and that's the end. Jester 2 is a bit more interesting. He summons like this little domain expansion eventually where he traps you in a grid-like pattern in one of these grids, and you have to dodge all the orbs while you're stuck in like this little room. Well, as the addition of this bouncy ball that has a face on it and fires projectiles. These projectiles are kind of quick and on higher difficulties can do a lot of damage, but it's not really too much to worry about. This fight, while it is fun and everything, it is kind of lame that the third one doesn't really have anything much different besides it just being a little bit harder. But to be fair, it's not even anything like that noticeable. I think the orbs are just faster and it's slightly more aggressive. At least that's what I think. Looking at the footage, I generally can't tell what the difference is between the third phase and the second phase, but still, it's enjoyable enough for it to go in A tier.
This. In case you didn't get the hint, I'll spell it out. You're a guest. Wants to go through. Got it?
Our job here is to guard this pool. That's right, we can't let you pass.
Agni and Rundra are definitely an S tier fight. I mean, just them themselves, I like their personality of being like these two chuckleheads. The fact that it's two bosses in one. Well, they do have very similar movesets in all fairness, but what sets them apart is just their elemental abilities, like one having wind and one having fire is really cool. I like their designs in general, them just being like headless, their actual heads being on the swords. This one also utilizes the clashing mechanic I mentioned earlier, for you to actually knock the weapon out of their hand and then pummel on them. Another cool thing about this boss is that you can actually choose to make it easier for yourself. If you wait for one to be low health and then kill the other one, you can actually kill them both at the same time before they combine. And by combine, I mean the one steals the other sword and then you have to fight that one. Even though, to be honest, I rarely do this because I'm not really able, or I'm not usually good enough, or I kind of just forget to get one low enough. Yeah, this one is kind of tricky, especially if you're new. Like, and even for a while, I had a lot of trouble with this fight. It's usually just because I don't have enough health at this point in the game, and I usually end up getting jumped by one or the other, but it's a fight where the more you do it, the easier it gets, but it's still enjoyable nonetheless, and you literally get the most fun weapon in any of the Devil May Cry games. Yeah, this is definitely S tier.
you showed up.
You sure know how to throw a party. No food, no drinks, and the only babe just left.
My sincerest apology, brother. I was so eager to see you, I couldn't concentrate on preparations for the bash.
Boo! You stink!
Okay, wait, don't click off the video yet. Okay, so I put Vergil in A, the very first Vergil fight, and we are going to be talking about each individual Vergil fight, so 2 and 3 separately. But yeah, I know it's iconic. I know it has the best atmosphere, in my opinion, of where you fight him on top of Temenagru. It has some of the most iconic lines. It's amazing. Like, the atmosphere of this fight and what it means in the story is amazing. However, the fight itself, the first Vergil fight is like supremely underwhelming, in all honesty. You just kind of have to like dodge, and that's really it. Like, there's not much to the fight. It's just whatever. It's still A tier, literally just for everything else, and I don't think I could legally put it any lower. But I kind of wish it was just a bit harder. Thankfully, the other two Vergil fights are way more difficult and challenging. How fitting, my least favorite level has one of the bosses that I like the least out of all of these. Now, Leviathan is such a weird fight, because it's not really that hard on normal difficulties. How it works, there's these 3 like hearts. Main heart and the other 2 side hearts. Now, you can attack whichever one you want, and it opens up the middle heart, which the middle heart is the one that's vulnerable and actually does damage, and that's the one that you have to kill for the fight to end. And yeah, this is pretty simple because it takes a lot of damage. It just takes a little bit. But on harder difficulties, it's just way harder because the enemies are more relentless. They have Devil Trigger now, so they take less damage. And they will jump you, and they do a lot of damage at the same time. Also, the lasers that the heart shoots out as an attack, it's way more, and it just keeps spamming them, to be honest. Like, it'll just spam the double lasers multiple times, and they're not too bad to dodge or jump over. It's just more the fact that these fucking enemies will keep attacking the whole time. And also, one of the hearts shoots out these like little orbs that track you around. On harder difficulties, this fight is just super long, tedious, and annoying. But normally it's not that hard, but it's still not that fun of a boss anyway. I think I'm gonna have to put this in D tier, in all honesty. Like, I'd much rather fight this centipede than...
So nicely. You'll never want to leave.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Nevan's actually a pretty cool fight, and I think it's probably one of the better fights in the game overall. It has a lot of variety in what the boss actually does. If you get too close to the boss, it has this spinny Beyblade attack. It also has these like shadow pillars that appear. It has this big attack that it does that's basically you have to jump to avoid it. It covers the entire floor with lightning. It also has these cool bat projectiles that you have to dodge. It was like these electrified bats that are in like rows, and you either have to jump over them or dodge them, depending on which formation she does. And I also like the fact that the boss also tries to hit you even if you knock it down in its pummel state. Basically, it'll cover the floor with this like shadow that will basically expand, and you'll take damage if you stand in it for too long, but it can easily be avoided as well. But yeah, I mainly just like how this fight has a lot of things going on in it, and not being the hardest thing in the world, it's challenging and has a lot of variety to it. There are a few things I don't like. One, on higher difficulties, it spams the shit out of the teleport. Like, anytime you try to get close to it, it'll just teleport to the other side of the screen and do everything again. So I feel like it's needlessly prolonged on harder difficulties just because of how the AI works in it. Also, the electricity bats, while fun to dodge, they are kind of fucking like damaging to the eyes. Like, they fucking flash so much, and it's like really weird, and I don't like it. It's just hard to look at in general. Aside from that, this boss fight is really good. Like I said, one of the best in this game in general. And also, it gives you one of the best cutscenes afterwards, and one of the coolest weapons in the series, again. Except, to be honest, I don't really use this weapon that much. It's kind of a weird weapon to use, and also maybe I'm just stupid, but it's still cool nonetheless. Beowulf is a good boss, but he's honestly kind of simple, especially compared to Nevan. He doesn't really do much. He kind of just throws these punches around, and then he has this like big pillar punch energy. Honestly, the best part about this fight is when he throws these like pillars at you, and you can actually send them back at him or just dodge out of the way. I think that's the most interesting part about the fight. My main problem with it is just that it's way too easy. Like, I know bosses all have weaknesses in this game, but its one eye is like its main weakness, and especially with Agni Rundra, if you just spam jump attack, this boss will just die in seconds. Like, it's really easy to kill this thing. Also, one thing that kind of sucks is that you don't get the weapon for it immediately. Well, it's because Vergil steals it, but this fight is not bad at all, but I think it's an A tier, personally. Geryon, I think that's how you say it, is probably one of my favorite designed bosses in this game. Like, I think its design is super sick. It's literally like a flaming chariot horse. The first part of this fight kind of sucks, in all honesty. All you have to do is really just wait for it to get tired, and then it enters the second phase. But the second phase is really cool. You're in this like big arena, and it runs around the arena shooting missiles at you, as well as these like time orbs that if you get caught in it, they like slow you down, but you can still dodge it. This fight's pretty simple, but it's still really cool, and I just love the visual of him himself. He just looks so cool. Although on harder difficulties, it is annoying because he does spam it a lot more. The time orbs, I mean. You could basically kind of get stun locked in a way for him just constantly keep doing this. But yeah, I still think, again, this is an A tier. The design is probably the best part about this fight. This fight is just kind of simple, in all honesty. Vergil 2 is just a completely better version of Vergil 1. While not as atmospheric and cool, in my opinion, at least in terms of like the story significance of it, and actually where the fight takes place. I think this one is simply just better because he's more aggressive, the attacks are more unpredictable, and the fact that he actually uses Devil Trigger and you just basically can't touch him when he's in Devil Trigger mode makes this all the more entertaining of a fight and just way better overall. But honestly, I still like the final fight way more, so I think it still goes an A. Looks like our boy the Gigapede has a friend down there. Because, yeah, honestly, the lady fight isn't anything at all. It kind of just feels like a filler fight. Like, I don't even really get why it happens. It feels kind of just stupid and forced anyway. But besides that, you literally just play hide and seek with Lady. That's all this fight is. You kind of just run around and chase her, and that's really the end of it. Like, I mean, she shoots, like, grenades and stuff, and her rockets at you. Sometimes she grapples up, but then you just go to her, knock her down, rinse and repeat. It's really not that hard or anything. It's just kind of annoying, and it's just whatever. The Doppelganger fight is cool in concept, but it's really fucking annoying on harder difficulties because the shades or whatever with the light just won't fucking open. Like, I swear to God, you have to do the most immaculate S-rank combo on these things just to open them. Normally, this isn't that bad. It's literally just for some reason they take way more hits to actually open on harder difficulties, and he can just interrupt you, or sometimes the shadow can just decide to not want to deal with you, period. Ends up just wasting your time. Like, I swear this took me so long to do, especially because he's not even stunned for that long if you just do it normally on harder difficulties. On normal difficulties, this boss is like interesting, cool gimmick. On harder difficulties, it's so fucking annoying. So it's either too easy on normal difficulties, or on harder difficulties, it's so fucking tedious. So honestly, I'll just give this a B, to be honest. Oh God, I hate this so much. Mission 18, you have to fight these chess pieces that have been all throughout the game, but now you fight all of them, and then there's like this king chess piece who's just really annoying to fight. And this whole thing is just so super slow and annoying, and just not that fun to fight. This thing just sucks. Like, anyone who's fought this, just, I don't think there's a single person that likes this. D tier.
Anyway, that shape suits you better. Let's begin the main event.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Thank Christ this is not the actual final boss, but yeah, this Arkham blob thing you fight is absolutely the worst boss in the entire game. It's weirdly difficult for no reason with these fucking weird eel things that just completely surround you and are hard to get rid of. These stupid tentacles that can just grab you and you can't even tell what it's doing half the time just because of how big it is, and it does insane damage for no reason. And on harder difficulties, forget about it. This is like almost impossible on harder difficulties. I mean, it obviously is possible, but this just sucks so much, dude. You literally just can't tell what's happening for half the fight. And then the stupid Vergil assist thing that you get is even more ass because you can't even use Devil Trigger. I feel like if you could just use Devil Trigger off the bat throughout the whole fight, I feel like this fight would be way easier. But this actively nerfs you because Vergil's dumbass doesn't even help you. He just does whatever the fuck he wants. This fight is just an F tier overall. The only good thing about this fight is literally the cutscene you get after beating it.
Give that to me.
No way. You got your own.
Well, I want yours too.
What are you gonna do with all that power, huh? No matter how hard you try, you're never gonna be like Father.
You're wasting time!
We are the sons of Sparta. Within each of us flows his blood. But more importantly, his soul! And now, my soul is saying it wants to stop you!
Unfortunately, our souls are at odds, brother. I need more power.
Really to say about Dante, Vergil, the final fight that hasn't already been said. It's clearly an S tier. It's the best of both of the fights combined. You have your full movesets, both of you. It's just straight hands through and through. It's dramatic, it's cool. It's just a great fight. That's all there really is to it. I know I'm not being the most descriptive on it, but I mean, it's just a really good, solid fight. And yeah, that's basically gonna be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on what's your favorite Devil May Cry 3 boss, and let me know if you want to see me do the other games in this series. I'd be down to do it, but I want to know what you want to see. And yeah, see ya.